Well, from that now, the House of Representatives has raised concern over the collapse of a cryptocurrency investment firm, CBEX, which has allegedly defrauded unsuspecting investors over 1.3 trillion naira. In a statement, House spokesman Akintunde Rotimi expressed the lawmakers' sympathy for Nigerians affected by the fraudulent scheme. But in what might be good news to some CBEX investors, the EFCC spokesman Dele Oyewale promised that the Commission would collaborate with the International Criminal Police Organization to investigate the incident, and investors will receive their money back.
As an anti-corruption agency, the EFCC will do its job. We are going to probe, and we are already doing that. We are going to profile, we are already doing that. We are going to go after all the actors, we are already doing that. And one of the possibilities is that after everything is done, we are able to recover some of the funds, the depositor can come forward. But I'm not saying that, oh, automatically this is what is going to happen. And don't forget that investigation takes time. It's not going to be a press button thing. There are so many things that you have to do. There are jurisdictions. It's not just within Nigeria, it's across the world. But what I'm saying is that as an anti-corruption agency, we will do our job. And a very, very important possibility is that having done our job, whatever we are able to come out of it, we are going to brief Nigerians and depositors. They have cause to be hopeful that since the EFCC is working, there is likely to be a shaft of light at the end of the tunnel.
A lot we'll be looking at on the program today. The CBEX issue, also the Naira for crude policy. My guest on the program today is a chief economist at SBM Professionals. He is Paul Alaji, and he'll be joining me as we really dig beyond the headlines to unravel more about these issues. Good to have you join us, Mr. Alaji. Let's begin with the Naira for crude policy and its impact on the Nigerian economy. For the second time in just a week, Dangote Refinery has reduced its ex-depot price of petrol. But how significant is this?
Very significant, I must tell you. I'm happy that we did not miss the opportunity to get some level of stability in our economy. What would have happened if that has not been extended? By now, I tell you, exchange rate would have been inching towards 1,800, 1,900. And in 6 months from now, we might have to be, we might be looking for dollar to even buy PMS in our vehicles. A great decision made by the executive that program should be extended. And the impact would only strengthen competition between NNPCL, Dangote Refinery, and those that are importing into our country. It's kudos, it's correct decision. I remember that I mentioned clearly that we should do everything possible to extend that agreement, and that arrangement is a good one that is being extended. It's going to be positive for our economy. When you look at macroeconomic indicator, price stability is one of them. One of the things that our organization has found out that is affecting inflation today is the price of energy, which includes electricity and PMS, among others, of course, diesel and so on. So allowing this to extend will mean we are indirectly influencing inflation from non-monetary angle. And what have we done? We've said, because we are Nigeria, even though it's a global product, let's maintain it in Naira. And I think that was a good decision taken by authorities.
Mr. Alaji, you've ruled out the importance, benefits of this, very big grammar. But you know what? The average Nigerian out there on the street is complaining about the fact that he is not actually feeling the impact of this. Because, for instance, motorists have not exactly reduced fares despite paying lesser for petrol. How do we get the benefits to trickle down to the final consumers?
When sources of prices, that's input cost, when they reduce, I beg your pardon, price reduction is usually sticky. They don't come down the way they went up. So it takes time. What we can do, however, is to ensure that we introduce policy that will sustain this reduction. So this policy may include the second important thing that is making prices to go up, that people have not felt the impact, which is exchange rate. When we combine reduction in cost of energy energy through policy with exchange rates and sustain it over a period of time, certainly people will feel it. When people don't feel it, they will tell you that, well, we have not seen anything government has done. And that is why we must push for government to do more. This is a good one. And in my own tradition, or in my own, as a person, when I see a correct decision government have made, it's important we say it loudly and clearly. And when we see things that government has not done enough of, it's also important to call it. This price reduction will not come down overnight. It will take time. But to accelerate the reduction, we need to combine it with one other decision, which is stability in exchange rate. And I hope that the thing we are noticing before the policy was mentioned and going to 1.6, it can reverse back to 1.5 and even below that.
All right. And talking about Dangote, some shareholders are urging Aliko Dangote to reciprocate the government's gesture by listing its Dangote Petroleum Refinery on the stock exchange. Do you support that call, and how realistic is it?
Well, I think Dangote Refinery's decision will depend on the current management. It will be a nice one for people to buy into the refinery. It means the openness of the refinery will grow. But the tradition of Mr. Aliko Dangote. He might not be an economist, but by now, business experience has made him to be a key player in majorly microeconomics, and by extension, his role as the nation to also understand, to have some understanding of macroeconomy. So I will give it to him. But it's important that that decision will lie with him. Now, if it's listed on the exchange, honestly, it will have major impact on the overall economy. Because when you check, when that project was going up, that was the largest single factory, largest investment going on anywhere on the soil of Africa. So if that goes to the exchange, it will have a tremendous positive impact on the exchange, one, two, also the reputation of our country. And it also, of course, boosts the perception of private sector, not just in Nigeria, all around the world. What will happen to our rating? Among international rating agency, very positive. So it ticks all the boxes. But the question is, we don't have the power or the influence to mandate Mr. Dangote if he doesn't want to say he must be listed. It can only be through persuasion, and except and unless the refinery needs money, they want to raise funds from the capital market, then that would be a good reason. As a businessman, he perhaps wants to see, what is the need for me if I enlist it? Because what you have enlisted, it means you want to share your risk and your profit with the public.
But have you, Mr. Alade, tried to imagine how impactful it would be if more refineries are able to benefit from the Naira for Crude initiative? Does it appear this policy is effective in helping more refineries spring up locally?
Honestly, 100% more refineries will spring up. Already we have some modular refineries which also can participate in the ongoing scheme. So I'm also aware that licenses have been issued for new refineries to come to the stream. When they understand that they won't need to necessarily look for dollars that are relatively scarce, that can also put pressure on the Naira. So it's a good one for them. And I know it's a way indirectly of encouraging more refineries to come up so that we can eventually be free from this significant product that seems to have held us down for many decades.
All right, Ms. Alade, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll be talking about Ponzi schemes and the latest, which is CBEX, and how some Nigerians have actually lost at least 1.3 trillion naira to the fraud. Please stay with us. Chief Economist at SPM Professionals, Paul Alade, is my guest on the program. Let's talk about Ponzi schemes in Nigeria. The latest is CBEX. As an economist, Mr. Alade, what was your initial reaction when you actually heard that investors in Nigeria lost a whopping 1.3 trillion naira to the fraudulent scheme, despite the history we have of Ponzi schemes in Nigeria?
Well, disappointed. I was worried. I felt no one would have fallen prey of Ponzi scheme in Nigeria again, because before now, research revealed that we have done a minimum, not less than 3.5 trillion naira between 2016 in the era of MMM to 2024. This addition moves what Nigeria has lost to over 4.8 trillion naira. And talking naira terms, when you look at what exchange rate was in the year 2016, 2017 to 2019, compared to what it is today, in today's figure, what we have lost in the real sense is over 8 trillion naira to individuals, most of which have taken this money to the dark economies, to the cryptos of this world, disappear from our economy, and we wonder why we are not growing. So advice have been given in the past. I remember in 2016, a lot of persons thought maybe I was anti-MMM, and I encouraged a lot of people, advised a lot of people on television, on radio, why they must not invest their money on Ponzi. Unfortunately, many, even few that I knew, kept their money in Ponzi. I projected that by February 2017, MMM was going to go down. But unfortunately, to them, by November, December 2016, MMM went down. Was I happy that someone lost their money? No. Well, did I gloat? I didn't. There's no point gloating that people have lost their money. But what we are saying is that as economists, sometimes when we run the numbers based on what history have told us or what economic happening have dictated to us, and we run the model and we are able to come out with certain projection, which is what makes us economists in the first instance. Our ability to project correctly, given several assumptions that this will happen. Unfortunately, Nigerians, because of several factors, which of course include but not limited to greed and some other reasons where they are giving, continue to invest in what is destined to destroy this time or in the future is another conversation entirely.
In this particular case now, the EFCC is reassuring investors that they will get their funds back. How does it work? How realistic is that statement?
Well, from history, some persons will get their money back, but we have not seen any history, neither here in Nigeria or the rest of Africa, that we have monitored that 100% of the money was gotten back. It is practically impossible. So if you know how Ponzi works, you will know that everybody cannot get their money back. So it's a system that is designed to reward existing investors with the funds of new investors. So those investors that you have rewarded have left you already. Meanwhile, the money of the new investor will never be sufficient to pay them back the money that they have deposited. So some may get what I believe the EFCC is saying is that in the mid.
This is a conversation we really do need to have. The spokesman of the EFCC, Delo Iwale, was speaking earlier today on TVC News at 1, where he gave that point that the EFCC would be working, with the international police body to ensure that investors are able to get their funds back. But now Mr. Alaje, the economist, is saying that, yeah, they could get their money back, but it might not be everybody and it might not be in full. Mr. Alaje, please land on your thoughts.
Well, it has never happened that everybody got their money back in any Ponzi scheme. From the one I monitor with 4CID in Abuja to what we have seen EFCC helped. As a matter of fact, EFCC might not say it. There are some Ponzi schemes that have actually been arrested as we are talking, not CBEX. But with the money come back, they still have their days in court. It takes time. Some persons that are far we go. So, but this is it. I think before anybody invests, we should be much more after keeping people away from putting their money in dark investment or horrible investment that is destined to frustrate them.
So let's get into that. Considering the economy and the way things are, it's a time when there is growing advocacy for people to have extra sources of income. So what is your advice to potential investors on what to look out for before undertaking any venture?
Well, economic hardship is here and is in different parts of Africa, no doubt. But, to make money should not be that we now look for a wrong way, wishing that one we invest in something that gives nothing. So I don't think that putting money in Ponzi scheme, it's a way out of current economic quagmire. I think advocacy that we have continued to push to our government, our local, state, and federal level is good. Investment in real sector by government is good. For private sector, I think people should get to work. If you want to do passive investment, it's very important. It's good. But please, go on the website on SEC, Security and Exchange Commission. They have listed every accredited platforms where you can have such investment. Anybody telling you that they will give you returns of 100% in a month, they are lying to you. They are looking for all means to steal from you, directly or indirectly. If they're not stealing from you, they want you to be an agent that will bring people they will steal from. So do not succumb to such greed or pressure that deliberately want to tarnish your image or destroy people that are your relative, or take care out of your face. Because I am very confident that this will not end. It is not just in Nigeria. We have seen it in Bangladesh. I've seen it in what's it called, Pakistan, and so many other developing countries, even outside Africa. So my advice to people is that before you invest, ask, are they registered with Security and Exchange Commission? In the case that affects Central Bank of Nigeria, are they registered? Can they be traced? Yes, it may take you 1-2 days extra to carry out this investigation. It's more important to spend extra days than to lose your hard-earned thousands of naira in this current economic quagmire, or to lose millions of naira in the current economic realities. That is why it's very important for us to make these findings. And my advice also go to government.
Yes, Mr. Alhaji, I want us to talk about government. I want us to talk about government. When these schemes come out and they begin to thrive, you know, is there no machinery, you know, to look out for what is happening in the economy? Is there no way of reporting these schemes? Is there no way of really, you know, nipping it in the bud before it gets to the point where people lose their monies?
Yeah, I know that there is a new law signed by His Excellency, Mr. President, that anybody that carries out Ponzi will go on 10 years jail term. And we also pay Security and Exchange Commission, we charge a fine of about 20 million naira. It is when you know you are looking for a black pot, but you have not even found any pot. So the initial thing is that people have to report to SEC or any other organization. So the first step is that we need to come up with strategy of communication. For instance, TVC is a reputable media organization, at least in Nigeria and the rest of Africa. Security and Exchange Commission, Central Bank of Nigeria must get to a point where they deliberately sponsor programs to educate people. And this program will not just be for people who watch TVC alone, even across platforms, in Hausa, in Yoruba, in Igbo, in Pidgin, most importantly, in Pidgin, so that people understand what investment is. It's high time we take financial education away from people that just wear suit and tie. No. We need to take it down to people who don't wear suit and tie also. And perhaps some of them don't speak English. So it is not only people that speak English that has money. So apart from that, we also need to turn it to drama. Television series, radio series. What we are targeting is for people to become aware. We have that responsibility to protect our people before they are swindled by these organizations. But to do that, government must also be prompt. Open FDEC centers across the state. I understand that there is no agency of government, be it CBN or EFCC or SEC or FCI, force investigation. None of them have the human capacity to be everywhere at the same time. The initial thing is that Nigeria must first go to make this report. And can I shock you? As of
Mr. Alhaji, you have 10 seconds to wrap up, please. 10 seconds. So
12 p.m. yesterday, there has been no single report of CBEX with SEC. None. As of 12 p.m. yesterday that we investigated, nobody has reported. So we wanted to know how many have reported to SEC. From the response we got, nobody. So Nigerians
we need to go now.
To believe in institution and report so that we can together fight crime in our society.
Chief Economist at SPM Professionals, Paul Alhaji, thank you very much for your time on the program.
Thank you so very much for having me.
That's our show today. A repeat broadcast airs at midnight and at 6 a.m. I am Abosadi Adeniwa Duremi. Enjoy the rest of your day.